so grave robbers.
If only people knew what that was. Okay. Yep. All right. And
Who put that heart there, or is that just?
it's like a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It is lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 242 is entitled Destructive Patterns. Generalization. Are you in a relationship with Eeyore? Do you hear things like, "This always happens to me"? If so, they may have fallen into the destructive pattern of generalization. We're talking about that tonight. So, pull up a seat at the table and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later at youtube.com/lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is lunchtime in Rome. Rome.
Yeah. So I had a good day today. Which it's been a while.
You installed your outdoor fridge?
Yeah. Don't open that. Don't open that. Here comes the smell.
There's a 5-hour empty 5-hour energy in there already.
When we ever go like to get rid of that, we open up like just a just a waterfall of 5-hour energy bottles.
I leave them everywhere.
But no, it was a good day at work, and it's been a while since I've kind of said that.
Yeah.
And I like where I work. I like my job, and I love the people that I work with. But it's been a lot, and it's good to say I had a good day. And I have a plan of moving forward since my boss is gone, and people like the plan and agree with the plan and all that. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it just kind of felt good. And my other thing is
Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face by Mike Tyson.
What's that from?
Mike Tyson said that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everybody has a plan until I punch him in the face. So everybody has a plan until it goes to crap.
Thanks, Brian.
Wah, wah. No,
Thanks, Eeyore.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's the segue I was going for.
Yeah, but you would say it about you. You don't say it about somebody else. You're just a jerk.
I'm so happy about
somebody else.
I'm happy about everything.
You're just a jerk.
Except for other people's stuff.
Can you not portray? Can you? What's the word I'm looking for? Project generalization. Nah, it's not going to work, Eric. Look at your life, buddy. Look at your life.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
that's
I
going
appreciate
well.
that. The other thing is, I didn't go to Kennywood yet this year.
But Amy and Maggie did.
But Amy and Maggie did, and she rode the Racers, which is a roller coaster.
It's a big
Did she
girl.
love it?
One of the oldest ones in the United States.
Loved it.
That's phenomenal.
So I feel like we're getting into that age where we're going to be coaster riding.
Yeah, that's fun.
And
I love that ride.
Yeah, and that's a good. All the coasters at Kennywood are good.
I heard the steel curtain's going to be down all
Just
summer.
for this year.
Yeah, just
Well,
this year.
I have some inside information about
Ooh,
that
inside baseball.
because on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you follow Kennywood, there's been a lot of drama because they
class
had,
action lawsuit.
So when you get a season pass, you can go. They have these early days. You don't go to like into the park, but you can go and get your season pass all processed.
You can get in a line early.
Yes.
Without getting in a ride.
Yeah. But then when
Where do I
the
sign
day
up?
comes and they open up,
Right in the park.
that's a mile long line and it takes forever. So they do that so you can go. Well, after they had those days, it was like 3 days later, they announced that the Steel
man.
Curtain, which is the biggest coaster in the park, newest coaster, probably wildest coaster. I haven't ridden it yet, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
The first hill is the most thrilling part because it's so steep
Yeah.
and it's so high up
Yeah.
that even like I've been on most roller coasters, you're just like, well, this is where I'm not supposed to be. Like, I should not be allowed to be here as a human being. This is scary.
Yeah, I'll say I have inside information, but I won't say where I have it from. But I have it on good authority that they didn't know until that day that they were gonna shut it down for the year. Because last year it was open and then it was closed.
Yeah.
It was open and it was closed. So they were doing these like Band-Aid fixes, and for safety,
It's really what you don't want.
well,
it
I
comes
mean,
to a
and it
roller
was
coaster.
it was fine, but then this year they were like, we can't do that anymore for the sake of safety. So we just got to shut it down and make it right, and it's going to take.
So what do they do? They have to like
I don't
fix
know.
the track.
I don't know
like
what
remove.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
And it's
So,
got to be what, less than 5 years old?
For sure.
Might be 5.
3?
maybe 5. I don't even know if it's that old.
It's
It's new.
It's new.
I mean, I remember wearing a mask in line to ride it, except not.
Yesterday.
No. So in that time period.
But anyway, I'm very excited. It's not her first coaster though. Last year she rode
back to Maggie.
she rode the Jackrabbit.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Rolo coaster. I
And
had a while.
She could do the Jackrabbit.
I think the Jackrabbit
she was just tall
is
enough.
wilder than the racer.
It is. The Racers is very much up and down the hill, around
Yeah.
the bend, and you're
Yeah.
racing the other car. There's 2 cars that go at the same time. That's why they call it the Racers. But
They
last
magically
year
switch tracks.
they magically. But last year she rode the Jackrabbit, which is this famous double dip, and you get some airtime, and it's very exciting. And these are wooden coasters; these are old wooden coasters. And she was just tall enough to ride it last year, and she wanted to ride it, so Amy took her on it, and she was like catatonic when she came on.
Yeah.
She was just like in shock.
That's a rough ride.
And she did not know like how to feel. Like, like she was just like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
So this year we kind of prepped her. We showed her because they have videos on Kennywood's YouTube channel of like the ride. If you're
that's fun.
from the viewer of the ride.
Couldn't do that when we
Shout
were
out to
kids.
Trey who loved doing that back
was
in
gonna
the
say,
day.
let me
Oh,
tell
he
you.
loved
Yeah.
the racer.
And he loved
Well,
loved
no.
watching the videos.
He'd
of all
watch
the
roller
rides.
coasters
I mean,
Yeah.
on YouTube for
Jackrabbit.
hours.
Wasn't
Jackrabbit was his favorite.
Yeah.
So now that she's done the Racers, I think she can build up the courage to get back on the Jackrabbit. She was like, I'll ride the Jackrabbit. And then she's like, no, I'll do the Racers. So,
Yeah.
but I'm excited because like I do love roller coasters and we do have some good ones here. So
Well, if you watch
that's fun.
Kennywood Memories, that's Rick Seaback's advice is once you get a little older and you graduate from Kittyland, you start with the racer.
Yeah.
So
So that's fun.
yeah. Me. Hi, everybody. It's Chris here. Hi. What a crazy end of last weekend we had.
Musical.
Yeah. And
Graduation.
Brian will
Oh,
speak to this too.
graduation, that's
Yeah, we
right.
had a full slate. And kudos to Penn Hill's musical kids.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
they did Shrek as we talked about it last week leading up to it. But oh my gosh, it was a great show.
It was really good.
Probably my favorite moment wasn't involving the actual performance of the kids, but my favorite moment was a teacher from my school came up to me last Friday and said that she and her husband and their now adult daughter like to go around to different musicals during musical season and
Special kind of people.
right and they were coming to see Penn Hills, and she knew I was from Penn Hills and just was asking about it, and so I got to talk to her at intermission, and she was just gushing.
And she saw Thursday or Friday.
It was either Friday or Saturday, I can't remember which, but gushing about just how awesome it was and the talent
awesome.
level and
Sure.
everything, like, so
Yeah.
that felt good, just to like a little bit of affirmation, I guess.
Oh, respect.
Yeah. And so kudos to Ethan and Lily and everybody that was involved.
This smells like poop.
Oh man,
No, what?
it smells like bum.
Like bum.
This
line.
place smells like bum.
And then dips back.
Yeah, dip out.
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
love seeing the kids perform and just, show their talent, because it kind of is unexpected. You're like high school kids, blah blah blah. But man, when they get up on stage, they just almost they do kind of become different people. They're acting.
One more help.
Ethan definitely like transformed into a different person.
I mean,
It's
That's about what I
wild.
think
fun.
of him. I can think of him like Farquhar.
Funny. That was funny.
He was great. Yeah, and Lily was so fun to watch. She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wasn't enough. It was also Ben's college graduation. So unfortunately, we had to divide and conquer, Amy and I, that is, because Amy was playing in the pit, and of course it was Lily's last musical in high school on Sunday afternoon.
That's tough.
And yet Ben was graduating.
Yeah.
So me. Yeah, of course Ben was at his graduation. But myself and Claudia and Joe
Yeah.
and their other roommate, Luke, we were the four that represented and went and saw graduation at the Peterson Event Center.
Oh, they did it to Pete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was very festive. Drumline came out,
Nice.
like played, and they had it was almost like the start of a sporting event. The big bugle thingies came out and did their fanfare.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's fun.
So yeah. And it was really despite it being very long, it was very good.
so long.
What
Yeah.
emotions did you have? Because he's 3 years. He's graduating in 3 years.
Correct, because he got credits in high school through AP classes, a bunch of them, obviously, which was, that's great.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, it saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it also saved him a little time and whatever. What emotions? Nothing.
I was catatonic.
Like getting off the jackrabbit.
I was just bawling the whole time. No, I just pride.
Proud
a
dad.
healthy amount of pride. I think
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
So it wasn't like
And
bittersweet or anything like that.
I did have a moment. It wasn't even. It was driving. Because it reminded me of, I don't know, we were driving back to our vehicles or something. I can't remember the exact setting, but it was at some point in there, later in that day, maybe we were walking back to vehicles.
That makes more sense.
I was having we probably weren't driving back to vehicles. And we were passing towers. And the towers were where
It all started.
First year.
it
huh?
all started. And
Little
Worst storms in the
pizza
world.
wedges.
Yeah.
and
they're
it
the
sort
worst.
of came around, full circle in my mind to back to freshman year. And that was very bittersweet, saying goodbye, that he's... And, looking back 3 years later, he wasn't that far. And I get to see him all the time.
Yeah,
And
but-
it's great. He's still, he's a big part of just our lives. Our, he's Joe as well. And now his little friend Claudia. And we just, not bittersweet necessarily, because he's going right back into school. He's going right back into
Right. He's-
Not much is
he's
changing.
in-
Things
yeah.
have changed, but not much is changing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The change from high school to college was far greater.
Right. Yes.
Is he going to try to get like a job with the degree that he has now?
No.
Okay.
So he's entering a 1-year Masters of Education
Right.
1 year.
program. Yeah. Well, 1 year. It's 3 semesters, but they count summer as a semester. So he starts this summer, and then he has to do fall and spring.
Yeah.
And then he's done.
Is he moved out, or is he living somewhere else, or what's he doing?
Moved. He's
Like from where he and Joe and Luke.
Yeah, they all had to move out of that apartment. Joe's back home. Ben's back home. Who knows where Luke is? Back home. And they already have a new place set up. I think there's 6 of them. Something like that. 6 roommates are living together
Yeah, I forget the whole story.
off campus next year. So
That doesn't sound good.
they've already got it lined
Well,
up.
I asked them Saturday, Friday was their big last night. And I said to Joe, I said, so what'd you guys do? Because they haven't even gone to the bars yet since they've all turned 21. And he's like, oh, we drank screwdrivers and we watched Harry Potter.
Like men do.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
That's
I'm
insane,
proud of you. I don't.
bro.
And people say you guys are nerds.
What do they know? But the busyness is, just to put a bow on it, the busyness is past, or is it? Because now it's time to spring up and like spring cleaning and get the deck ready. And man, I was power washing today.
Yeah, it's
I
good
was
weather
out
for
there.
it.
Yes, it was. I'm like, I got to take advantage of the weather today and tomorrow because
For the rain on Saturday.
Right, exactly. So, but I don't want to bore you with all the algae that has like grown on all of the
Your armpits?
The covers. Oh no.
The new deck and the new furniture and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the furniture's fine, but the furniture covers would not stay on over the winter.
Yeah, they never do.
And so they just puddled
Except
up
for Jace.
and algae formed. Like, so anyway, I power washed them real good today. I got some simple green spray for my power washer and bam, bam.
Wow.
It was good. It was real good. I was working hard. And it felt great. Out in the sun, late afternoon.
Yeah.
Got a little.
Did you do school today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Put in a full day.
I'm
he did.
going hard, bro. Feels
Wow.
good.
Good.
Yeah. And that's my story.
For me, you guys know that I've been working on my book and probably put in 12 hours, 15 hours of editing the past week, and my content editor has that. And today I got a big long email from my marketing director on how to make social media videos and how to get momentum and get people to be involved, you know, and engaged with the whole project, even before, you know, asking people to, you know, contact their doctor and to get them involved and everything else. And I struggled with it because it's like, the instructions she's giving me are all the clichéic templates of every Instagram story or TikTok you've ever seen. She's like, you know, 15 to 30 seconds, you know, hit it sharp. And I went back with her a little bit of, you know, I don't want to look like I'm pretending to be an influencer, but, and it was funny because I started thinking, I'm like, well, you know, because she said, oh, like do it while you're on a hike or, you know, do it on your deck. Because I said I could just do it on my deck with a tripod or whatever. But then I started brainstorming, and I was like, well, it'd be really cool to like do one of them outside the Jackrabbit, because I can talk about Trey and how much he liked that, and you know, I could do it at his elementary school and point out like, hey, he only got to go to kindergarten and bing and go through that, and then I was like,
These are really good ideas.
well, then I was like, do you go to the cemetery? Like, you know, I was-
Oh, birthday duck.
no.
but she said, you want to start with a strong opening line that is shocking and gets their attention. I'm like, well,
That's
That would do that.
Here I am at the cemetery.
but so just it's crazy how like my brain just goes to brainstorming and all that kind of stuff. And
So what is how many of these are you gonna do, or is this an
We'll
ongoing
see.
thing? And then 2 minutes a piece, 1 minute a piece.
she said 15 to 30 seconds a piece.
Oh wow, okay. Like
And it's
like a
everything. It's just
reel.
introducing the project and to get awareness, B, to get people involved, you know, hopefully trigger something viral where the right people will get involved. You know, that somebody's like, oh, I know so-and-so, and just click on that. But it'll also go to the, for lack of a better term, Kickstarter campaign, which isn't really a Kickstarter because I'm not using Kickstarter's website, but to get pre-orders. Because one of my ideas in the marketing is like that you can say, you know, a high school classmate of mine lives in Orlando, and he's like, oh man, that's awesome. So he'll pre-buy 20 books and donate them to the Children's Hospital of Orlando.
That's cool.
So that then they get them, maybe they read them, maybe they hand them out. Now the hospital goes, hey, what happened to those books?
Right.
And they buy more.
Gotta get more.
So it's spreading the word for wherever you are.
Wow.
Hey, get these in the hands of the children's hospitals.
Do you have a timeline on like a target release?
We're looking, I mean, things are moving quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be end of May,
Wow.
could be June.
That's crazy.
Wow.
that is.
I wouldn't have thought it would be that soon. I was thinking more like end of summer or
Right.
something. But
No, it's probably June at this point, but because it's
still,
in,
that's
because my
amazing.
content editor is doing the revised edits of my edits, and then it goes to the two, I'll just say grammar specialists who will go over it with a fine tooth comb, and then it goes to the final editing process, which is somebody who has never heard of me, doesn't know about the project, gets to see it, you know, first time,
Completely fresh
and give
eyes.
his input on it. And then it goes to the, you know, well, concurrently I'm working with the cover designer, and then I have the interior designer, and where do we put pictures? And we have to find the pictures, which is on Rachel, because I don't have the pictures. So that's all very exciting. And then yesterday I got to present the Trey Mitlow Memorial Scholarship at the Penn Hills Education Foundation / Rotary Scholarship evening. And I even let the kid who won it, Luke Houlihan, not be there because he had a volleyball match. And I was like, well, it's kind of hypocritical if I say, you got to skip volleyball to come to this. But I still presented, and I said, you know, I said, number one, not everybody, you know, to the rest of the scholarship award winners for the
Yeah.
other scholarships. I
Yeah.
said, not everybody gets to graduate. I said, so as hard as this has been for you, I said, realize, you know, my son didn't get to graduate, and there's others of your classmates who didn't make it. Blah, blah, blah. Number two, my boy marched to the beat of his own drum. I said, well, you should follow rules. Don't just go along with everybody else. I said, don't be a follower, be a leader. I said, number three is every day is a gift. Okay, fine. So then later on, this lady from a funeral home in town is giving away a scholarship, and she goes, you know, somebody earlier tonight said that not everybody gets to graduate. And I turned to the guy beside me who I just met. I went, my kid died and she can't remember me from 8 minutes ago. Somebody said, I'm like, 8 minutes. You couldn't remember, like that nice gentleman who's sitting in the second row. She just gives me a somebody said earlier tonight.
The disrespect.
I know. I'm never going to that funeral.
At least she kind of included you. She could be like, I heard one time somewhere.
I had this independent thought all on my own.
This just came
having
to
never
me.
lost a family member, certainly not a child, that not everybody gets to graduate is my independent thought.
Can I
Thank you.
ask?
Thank you, everybody.
You mentioned all the book stuff and the
Yep.
not being an influencer, or not considering yourself an influencer.
Not wanting to appear as if I'm trying to be.
Okay.
Right.
I'd be more than happy to influence a lot of people to love people better.
So that was my question: are you looking forward to making those clips / reels / whatever you want to call them, or is it like?
Yes.
Do you have a feeling other than excitement about it?
No, it's mostly excitement. I mean, there is my hesitation to be like, I don't want to look like, oh, look, he's trying to do a video.
Yeah.
But the message needs to get out. And like my sister Marcy was like, hey, I happen to know a film major who's already been a part of a motion picture, which is my niece Mia, and she could help with the editing and whatever else. And I was like, ooh, she really could. Like, and she's getting home from school. So I was like, ooh.
Well, and you always come off as authentic. I mean, you are. I don't mean that's.
Hey, well, never mind. The lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls once said to this Christian guy in a singing competition, he goes, you have an authenticity that I have been trying to fake for years.
That's great.
But no, I appreciate
Yes,
that.
you have an authenticity. That's,
And
yeah.
with all due respect and humility, I am somewhat creative. And so,
Yeah.
Now she said I have to have a shocking line. All right, well, don't tell me that, because I'm also wildly, Brian's already making faces. I'm wildly inappropriate. I mean, at the end of Grief Share just now, it was over. I finished the prayer and somebody said something and I came back so sharp and somebody looked at me. I went, oh, gloves are off now, baby. I said, I've been holding this in for 13 weeks. But I appreciate that, Chris. And so, no, I'm mostly looking forward to it. And even like my marketing director, Patty, she was like, hey, I'm no expert, but I'll help you edit it. She goes, we, what did she say? Oh, we all suffer from the millennium pause.
Oh, I know what that is. So if you look at videos now that are more produced by like younger creators and whatnot, they get right into it. There's not like they turn the phone on, they look at the phone, and then they go, hey guys, there's not that
Right.
pause at the beginning of the video.
Well, I replied to her and I said, with all due respect, that would be a Gen X pause.
Now she called it a millennial pause.
millennial. Like generation, the generation millennial.
So wait, younger people? Are we not calling millennials younger people? Is
That's
that what's
Gen Z.
happening?
Gen Z is younger.
Okay.
So
Or
Gen
Gen
Z.
Alpha,
Gen
for that
Z.
matter.
Yeah, Gen Alpha.
Gen Z jumps in.
Yeah.
Gen Z is
And that's
Joe,
what-
Ben.
Yeah, and that's what I usually. I'm just trying to place what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pause is awkward.
It is when you like now that it's in your like
Yeah.
brain, it's
Yeah.
like just get into it
Because you're used
Yeah.
to swiping, and here they go.
Yeah.
Swipe to the next one. There they go.
Right.
Like right away.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So,
And don't say hey guys. Stop saying hey guys.
ugh. I will not say, hey guys.
guys.
Hey, you
Or
guys.
hey, how you doing? Who are you talking to?
I hate that even when people call into the radio.
Oh, well, radio people really don't like it
Oh
either
my gosh.
because
Over and over.
First
again.
time, long time?
Yeah.
First time caller, long time listener?
I don't mind that one.
As long they just boom boom with that. Yeah, that's not bad.
I like the shortened version of that because everybody knows what they mean. But yeah, not how you doing.
I want to hear from Brian.
Really? Yeah, it was a good weekend. It's great. Like I said, great to see everybody at the musical. My in-laws were up, which was really nice. We had a really nice time.
Yeah, it was good to see them.
It was nice. And, pretty, very much drama free, just very casual. And it was a really nice time. Needed it. And I won't be here the next 2 weeks. I'll be in New York. So that's good. And I'm looking forward to that somewhat.
I hear it's nice this time of year.
It's Long Island's beautiful right now.
Yeah, better than November.
Better than Manhattan.
Whatever. So yeah, that's about all I got.
Well, that's awesome. You know what else is awesome? Mary Lynn,
Generalizing
Ashley,
things. Oh, sorry.
Breaking 90.
Yeah.
Because they sit at the head of the table with us each week. And you too can sit at the head of the table by going to lunchtimeinrome.com and becoming a paid subscriber. So we encourage you to do that.
Smash that like button.
Oh,
gosh.
definitely
Hey,
do
guys.
that. Ooh, do we have a
guys.
like button?
Hey guys.
Yeah, if they're watching on YouTube.
You can comment and stuff on Substack, which is our website. That's what it's built on.
Nice.
So there's,
and we always want your feedback.
we love getting feedback. I get so excited when I see like somebody's made a comment, or
Sometimes we even reply.
sometimes, or when you fill out the relational needs questionnaire, which you can also find at lunchtimeinroom.com, and you should fill it out.
Indeed. So we have been talking about destructive patterns of communication and or really personality, for lack of a better term, and really looking at them and going over how to stop being that way because they're destructive and you'd rather they were constructive. And this is mostly for you. If you have identified this in yourself, it's very difficult to say to somebody, hey, here's what's wrong with you, and we are going to fix it. It has to be on the person, but you can at least be aware of it.
Yeah, and that's just the general value of the emotional needs when you find out what your emotional needs are. Very similarly, it's like a superpower. So like you know what you need, and then you can move forward and ask for those things.
Yeah, and it's also just because you're aware of it doesn't mean you're going to get better at it, but at least you started that process.
Right.
You know, I was just talking with a guy today on the disc golf course, you know, and he was saying that he knows that his putting problems right now are mental. And I'm like, right, you can know that all you want. Doesn't mean you can fix it, but at least you know what the problem is. And so this is just information gathering, but also we want to equip you with tools to do that. Brian so wonderfully made fun of our people today that have this generalizing when he was doing the Eeyore thing, which I tricked him into because I wrote Eeyore. He really did a good job of selling it. But there is that generalizing person that is the woe is me, and that it's always my fault, and I'm the worst. And of course, you know, and there's a little bit of overlap. You may feel like, didn't we already do this episode? But there is overlap, but the motivation or the cause is different.
Okay.
So they're not polarizing, or they're not personalizing, which we talked about last week.
Right.
They're generalizing. And so it can be a very similar destructive pattern, but what's behind it is different and the manifestation can be slightly different. So today we're looking at generalizing, and simple definition is that past events become predictors of the future. Now, I was trained in the Center for Relational Care a lot. In this case, not all of this material is from there, but I would love to ask the question, like, what about an insanely optimistic person? Because by definition, past events become predictors of the future.
So you're saying a generalization, they don't have to be Eeyore, they can be Tony Robbins.
Or the guy from Alec Baldwin and Friends, when he was just so excited and optimistic. Only Chris is going to get that. But, we're having our first fight. Isn't that fantastic? But I don't think it does apply.
Or to keep it Winnie the Pooh characters, Tigger. He's bouncy.
Fun.
Trouncy.
I think it is negative. I would say negative past events become predictors of the future. The person that says, of course it won't work. Of course this happened to me. I know this is going to go bad. This, it's the doom and the gloom. It's the Eeyore. But I just wanted to be a bit of a, I don't know, contrarian or have an inquisitive mind asking. Yeah. And what we hear is crazy is those people don't exist. Everything's going to be great.
Super optimistic people?
Yeah. I can't think of too many.
Not like that
They're
Alec
very
Baldwin
rare.
character.
They're very rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Amy has an uncle who he portrays super positivity.
Well, but go ahead.
That's all. I just the
He portrays?
every time. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Exudes is maybe the word you were looking
yes,
for.
exudes. And I said portrays though because I'm like, how can anybody be that positive?
Well, that's why
every time you ask him, like, hey, how's it going? His answer is like, I am so incredibly, stupendously amazing. You wish you were me. Things like that.
Well, which is funny because I was going to say it's not necessarily exuding positivity because I've been around those people and they never talk about themselves. They're engaged in you. Whatever you say, they're like, man, that's great. That's wonderful. And I've always strived to be that person and I am not close. But this person, if they're truly generalizing, it's about them. So they would come across as almost narcissistic, conceited, arrogant. Like, you wish you were me? Like, ugh. I don't. So he would be a good example of this. Like, it's always coming up roses. I'm always top notch. I'm a big winner.
That guy's the worst.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather be around Eeyore. So the description is they believe that past events predict the future. They generalize from past to future. Number 2, whatever has happened before, and this is important, will unavoidably happen again. Now, we should have compassion
Sure.
because I don't know that people choose to be this way.
Sure. We are who we are because of our past hurts.
Sure. And something bad has happened.
Right. Right.
They haven't lived on easy street and be like, oh, it's all going to go bad. No, they've had
Trauma.
bad trauma, for lack of a better term. Nothing will. Ugh, this breaks my heart. Nothing will or even can change, including the person. So there's no hope that you're going to become a better person.
They are locked.
That's what they think.
They
Yeah.
are locked
Okay.
in jail.
No, I was like, I thought.
No, these are
I
just-
thought you
this
meant,
is
like,
the truth.
I was like, oh
There
my
is
gosh,
no
that's-
hope.
That's so sad.
No amount of
Well,
counseling.
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Depression in Rome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, neuroscientists have discovered this is the only brain that cannot change.
Oh man, woof.
They carry around loads of anxiety, doubt, and fear, which makes sense. And it's I'm getting very sad because you're like, of course they are.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And they hold on to past hurts. Thank you, Eric. Failures and rejections, and see them as evidence for their gloomy attitude toward the future. Of course, I would think it's not going to work out
Yeah.
because this didn't work out. That didn't work out. This never went my way. That didn't go my way.
And they don't think about the good things that have ever happened. They're just totally,
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. And yeah, or the good things don't even register. We talked about
Right.
it. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and like the Bible tells us to do that. It tells you to think about the good things, and I've started to try to do that more. Especially with the season that we've been through and are going through.
And are coming out of.
Yeah. So to me, like, that makes me sad. Like you can't even find the good, because I can look everywhere and find good in my life. Like, it's unbelievable.
But it's been intentional.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the good doesn't even register to
Right.
them.
Yeah. They can't even recognize it.
Can I ask? Because that's a heavy description. All those bullet points. Is it? Obviously, Eeyore is sort of a caricature of
This.
So, but all of those descriptions, all like rolled into one, sound like almost unbelievable. Is it? How many?
Can you have touches of this?
Right.
Sure. You could be generalizing, but
Or
not
like
suffer
you're-
from generalizations. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
You can
Or
get into
like
a bad
phases.
season.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say so for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not like a virus.
Right.
But even if it is like a virus, like, I didn't get a bad case of it. I sneezed a little,
Right.
but I didn't quite get a
have
flu.
bouts. You might have
People that
bouts.
suffer from depression, like this might be something that coincides with like
Oh, sure. I think this would be a great,
Yeah.
a large marker of depression. I mean,
Yeah.
that you're going to find a lot of people that are suffering from depression generalize their life.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that generalize their life suffer from depression.
Yeah.
The last characteristic is they lack initiative and are usually pessimistic. Well, of course they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Why should they do anything? What's the Simpsons thing?
You tried your hardest.
Trying is the first step towards failure. Therefore, never try.
Well, yeah, you've done your hardest
Listen,
and failed.
boy.
The moral of the story is never
Never
try.
try.
So why did they get this way? As we talk about with all emotional needs, it's either you got it or you didn't get it as a child. The first is they were trained in this thinking pattern in a home environment as it was modeled by one or both parents. I mean, a whole family of Eeyores.
that literally
it-
made me shiver.
Is it just parents, or can it be like extended family? But parents are probably the most impactful.
I would say parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because you've been trained in that. I mean,
Yeah.
Imagine you're getting your diaper changed. Of course, they would pee all over me. This always, I mean,
Right.
you're just this young age,
Yeah. Oh,
and it's just
gosh.
ingrained. And of course, you didn't get the job, Harry, and you're watching your dad be depressed, and your mom is depressed, and nothing goes our way. We're the Jenkins, and the Jenkins never get their way. And you're told Jenkins don't ever get their way. And well, what's your last name? Jenkins. My apologies to the Jenkins family if you're listening.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh.
You know, without
Oh yeah.
you start getting into like the metaphysical stuff and what you're attracting, you know, our thoughts are powerful and our words are powerful. We start speaking these things over ourselves. What are we going to attract? What are we
Yeah.
going to inevitably attract? We're going to attract the things that we're thinking about and speaking over ourselves. I always get sick. You're probably sick because you're talking about it and you're thinking about it and you're declaring it over yourself. So stop it. That's all. I'm done. I'm going to leave now.
We can end the show. Just stop.
Yeah,
it.
let's go.
That's still one of the greatest Bob Newhart clips ever. It's Mad TV.
Yeah.
Counselor. I only have 5 minutes is all it takes. Good.
No, I was gonna say, do you guys know anybody like this? I'm trying to think, like, through all the people that I know.
I do.
I know like negative people, but like I don't know anybody that's like at this level, like from what we're describing.
I know people in the past and I know people now. I
I know people in the future.
Yeah.
I know people sitting at the table. No, I sat next to somebody at my first like real job when I worked at a like in cubicles. She sat next to me and it was like you know, you
A
see
rain cloud next to you.
there's a black hole and it's like I'm gonna walk quickly past her door because
Well, that goes back to we talk about everybody being electrical beings.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like these people are those, and like they suck that energy
Yes.
out of the room, and you know, but yeah, I can't really think of somebody that's exactly like that. There's a woman that walks her dog around our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
that looks like she would be this.
She probably is.
But you
She
don't
might
dare
be-
talk to
she
her.
might- I always say hi, and she never like.
You're all
looks
like,
at-
ha!
I'm like, okay, you know.
Is it possible? So to answer your question, Eric, like I don't really know. I feel like I've come across people like this, but is it possible? Like some people exude this. Would other people suffering from this put on a front? But you know what I mean, a more positive front, even though they're feeling all of this internally.
Like masking a depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really difficult to like if you're all the things like you could like I think if you're some of these or you move in and out of the seasons of these things, yeah, maybe that's a possibility. But if you're fundamentally this person, I think it's real hard to mask that. I don't think you want to. Like I like we talk about, you know, everybody does their best life now on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. You always see all the good stuff. I think this person would be the person that's
Post the bad stuff.
I
All the
I
time.
broke my window today. Oh, I fell on the ice
that
today.
definitely exists. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've definitely seen that on
Of
social
course,
media.
this would happen to me.
Yeah, and like the people who
Those are the
entire-
people.
I'm not
like
sure
this.
what they're searching for. If they're
Attention.
searching for
Some kind of
yeah,
attention.
It could be that or sympathy or
Right.
whatever.
You still have your emotional needs.
Yeah,
Right.
right. I think I keep on thinking of like the Eeyore comparison, and Eeyore is always mopey.
Yeah,
You know,
he's not searching for attention though. That's he would.
No,
he,
that's
he-
not his
and
emotional
would, he would never post on social.
and he's
media.
not masking.
No, but Eeyore,
Yeah.
I would say, has a high need for belonging because he's always
Oh, yeah.
around them.
For sure, for sure.
And maybe acceptance, even though he's so, morose. Brian, you told me about a book. Was it Engaged? Nope. Switch Your Mind?
Switch on your brain.
Switch on Your Brain.
Carolyn Leaf.
I should do that sometime.
And I am deep into chapter 2. But it's just this,
fascinating.
that your brain, that your mind is in control of your brain, not the other way around. So like if you want to be positive, your brain will follow. If you want to be negative, your brain will follow.
Right. Yeah, because I've heard people like say
It's
like,
called the
you-
plasticity of your brain. If you
Oh,
really
I was,
like
I
to
was
know.
just about to say that.
neuroplasticity.
No, I mean I've heard people like talk about like you can choose your mood. Like you can if you're in a funk, you can choose to either like lean into the funk or lean into like getting out of it.
But it doesn't always feel like you can do that.
Oh no,
And
for sure,
sometimes
for sure.
overwhelmingly so.
Right, right.
Yeah. Which is what this is.
It's very much like I just don't want to go to the gym and lift weights.
Yeah.
But if I go to the gym and lift weights, I'm going
feel
to be
good.
better.
Yeah.
Not just feel better. I am going to be better.
Yeah, right.
And the people, this kind of a person, they're the kind of person, if you're talking mentally, they're the kind of person that they're sitting on the couch eating chips, just resigned to the fact that they're not going to get off the couch and they're going to just gain weight.
Or that time they went to the gym
and it didn't work,
and they actually
that one
pulled
time.
their back, or something. And
Of
so
course
like,
that
of course
happened
it's
to
going to
you.
happen. I'm
Yeah.
not going to make the effort
Right.
to go back to the gym
and it
because
just didn't work
Yeah.
for me, and it
Yeah.
got me hurt. And why should I do that again?
Yeah.
And it should be noted that the neuroplasticity of your brain and the fact that your brain follows your mind is new in the brain community. Like the
Right.
people that are doctors now weren't trained that way.
No.
That your brain was your brain, and that was it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Beyond that, I wanted to say something else in that regard. The other reason why they may be the way they are is they have been given that a label as they've been growing up. That, this is the needy one. This is the pest. This is the klutz.
The dummy.
This is the simple.
Man, when I hear a parent say something like that about their kid, it just
Oh, yeah.
just breaks my heart.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when
Because
you
sorry.
go,
I was just gonna say, like you said, Brian, you speaking things, into your life, having somebody else speak those things into your life.
right?
I don't know what's worse.
And it's a vicious. Well, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
because they speak it.
and then you will.
then you
Yeah.
especially if it's a person of like
Well, sure.
influence in
Yeah,
your
right.
in your younger life. Yeah.
Yeah.
God has given us the ability through the Bible and His words to have an identity, to know, generally speaking, who we are. Like you said, you said a scripture now that I can't remember, but there's so many things in there in the Bible about not just thinking positive. It's not like this, they give you life.
The Book of Tony Robbins.
Yes, it's not just the
after
book of
Peter.
Tony Robbins. There are so many, whatever's good, whatever's worthy, whatever's
Focus
think
on
on
these
these
things.
things, right? Like things like that are in the Bible.
Daily renewal of your mind.
And when you get off the couch and go to the gym and put those things into your body, metaphorically and speaking, you begin to get that identity that God's given you. If you don't, you're going to find an identity from somewhere. We live in an age right now, and I was thinking a lot about where we're at as a society right now. Everybody's like, what is identity? Like there's this whole, the gender thing and that whole
Political.
Everybody's looking for an identity, or like you're saying, like your teacher in third grade says you're a dummy, or whatever. You're gonna, okay, I'm a dummy, I guess that's part of my identity. And there's people that take that in, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not renewing your mind according to what the scripture's telling you, other things are going to fill that void.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's definitely a move. I mean, for many years now, but like my whole career and probably longer as a teacher, where you're not telling kids they're bad kids, because that sets up this sort of like echo chamber, I guess, where they're telling themselves they're bad kids, but they've made bad choices. And it doesn't mean that there aren't consequences for. I mean, there are consequences for
Right.
bad choices, but it's not like, well, now you're forever the bad
You're not
kid.
saying they're a bad kid.
Right.
Right.
It's like,
the decision you made is
yeah,
bad.
right.
And I want to point out, like, we're not. Adam Carolla talks about how Wow Wow Wubsy has ruined America, and because their song is that you're the coolest,
You're the coolest.
and that everybody's the coolest, and it's like, so I want to make sure that everybody's not thinking that we're promoting unrealistic the other way either.
Sure.
Right.
No, we shouldn't give people labels. Let your yeses be yes and your no's be no.
Yeah.
is very scriptural. And so you're not a bad person. This was a terrible choice. You know what I mean? Or,
Right.
And I just thought of today with all the craziness, if I may be so bold, that's going on in college campus with the protests, which make no logical sense. One guy tweeted today, he said, "For hundreds of years, we have treated nerds like nerds. You all decided to treat them like people, and now this is what we get."
Jeez.
And it's so funny because like, you can't say it's not a bad point though. If you think about it. I don't encourage you to call people nerds.
Amy,
But if they're acting nerd-like, you can say to them, this is like a nerd, but I believe you can change and be cool. Go on. Why do we say nerds and you say Amy? Go on.
well, I'm switching what I was going to say now. Like, we embrace our nerdness. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. My own boys drinking screwdrivers and watching Harry Potter. Come on. Also not protesting. Go on.
Amy got, one of her tattoos is the fruits of the spirit on her arm, and very much like got it as a reminder so that she can look down and be like, these are my goals. These are the things that are important, so it's not necessarily what society is saying or what
it is not.
Even like what her brain is telling her,
Because she's had some labels thrown at her in her days. So, the truth is, just because something has happened in the past doesn't mean it'll happen again in the same way in the future. That's true. The person who generalizes can't see that.
Right.
Go ahead, Brian.
Would the person who's the other shoe's going to drop kind of person?
I mean, the generalizer?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, the generalizer.
Okay. So I was going to say,
They generalize
is it
everything.
the umbrella.
but there's always another shoe.
It's all, yeah.
It's like a centipede
Yes.
who
Yeah,
wears shoes.
this is great now, but I know.
Oh, right. Even if it is, but I don't even know that they ever say this is great now.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
may seem great,
Right. This is.
but you wait and see.
They'll find the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like personalization, what happens to us very well may have nothing to do with us. So both the personalizer and the generalizer, of course it would rain on my wedding day.
Yeah.
And it just rained.
Right.
So wait, how? Because this was
How is
like,
this different
when
then?
when I first saw this, I was like, how is this different? So how is this different?
Personalizing, you think everything is about you. In generalizing, you think everything is happening to you. It's not your fault. Inherently, it's just nothing good ever happens to you. So if, it's everything's bad and it always is going to happen to you and there's nothing you can change. Personalizing is this is a personal attack on me.
Okay.
But a generalizer,
okay.
a generalizer is also personalizing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So you should have some biblical truths. We've been in each of these different destructive patterns. They say, hold to what is true. Focus on what is true. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. That does not sound like the generalizer.
Right.
You can't read that and be Eeyore. Unless you say, well, what?
Just that that verse. It was from God to the Israelites about their captivity, and so like we've just totally co-opted that verse here in the 21st century and
To make it be like you're going to be wealthy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's
Prosperity.
why-
like there was a very very specific context for that verse, and we went back and went, hey, that looks like a good one.
But how did the Israelites respond to that? Did they go, oh, sweet?
Yeah, no,
What'd they do?
they cried and
It
complained.
always goes
and-
bad for
right.
us.
They generalized
But
it.
they ignored it.
Right.
So the same thing is true for those who are miserable, who are Eeyoring. They're not considering this.
I'm not poo-pooing the Bible
No, I
scriptures.
know, but
I'm
it
just,
is a funny biblical. I mean, we could do that all
Yeah,
day.
you're poo-pooing the prosperity gospel stuff.
As well, you should.
Yeah.
Okay, then John 10:10.
I've come to give you life and life abundantly.
Yeah, except not you.
Yeah, I don't.
Not you, loser. No, not you.
Well,
I mean,
but
to the generalizer.
But the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy.
But think about both of those verses. Then they're focusing more on the thief.
Not, and their hope is not in Christ.
Right. Right.
So they're not only an Eeyore, they're not a
They're
good
terrible
Christian.
Christians.
Well, that's it.
See you next week for 243.
We could also apply many other scripture verses, just like the one last week, which was, "Do not consider yourselves, to be better than you are." Like you think you're outside of God's love. You're so terrible that God's like, "Woohoo! Nothing I can do with this
no,
one."
you're
Let me
not
tell you,
making-
I
you're
would
not making
love
the cut.
to give them something to prosper over, but I am stumped. The effects on the relationship. The generalizer often feels like an anchor. So not only are they an anchor, let's be clear.
They feel like it.
They feel like it.
They
Because
feel
of
that they
course I would
themselves-
ruin every relationship
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
ever in. But the relationship can easily become codependent that oh, if they're having an okay day, then maybe we can have an okay day. But if they're always miserable, oh, it's always miserable. And the relationship is rife with conflict because, say, you're married to Eeyore. Well, you think Eeyore's meeting your needs?
Right.
No. So your needs aren't getting met either.
Yep.
And eventually you're going to be like, yo, I mean, come on. I need something. It's not a good relationship. I'm not
Nah,
gonna lie
that'd
to
be
you.
a tough person to be in
And
a
the generalizer, more than happy to take the blame. You're right. This always happens
Yeah.
to me. My mother didn't love me. My
nice.
father didn't love me. Why would you love me?
I'm going to ruin this.
Yeah, they're well on their way.
Wow.
So if you want to begin to overcome generalizing, and this has been consistent with each of ours, take notice of the incidents when generalization has taken place. Write them down. I didn't include this, but in each other one, it's been like, even have your spouse or the person you're in a relationship with help you. I think they'd be more than happy to help. Like other times you're like, oh, I don't know, but it's like, they're like, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. You just did it right now. Of course I did. You just did it again.
Do you think the other person can initiate?
If you give them permission.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all where everybody is in their relationships.
Yeah.
If we're describing your spouse, you can certainly go to them and just say, hey,
Listen
can
to
we
this
talk
podcast.
about this? And I would add, hey, I want you to know that I know you don't think you can change. I know that. But let me believe that you can. And it might be that one time, that one person that God uses to reach into their hurt and pull them out of it.
It's so foreign to him.
Right. Probably not, but maybe. So try to take note of how often this happens more than when it happens. So if you're trying to reach out to somebody you're in a relationship with and you show them, you've said 30 negative things about your life in 2 days. Now, let's not worry about what you said. That doesn't matter. Then maybe that will give them the moment, or that can give you the moment. If you're keeping track of every time you say, of course it will, or woe is me, seeing the number may shock you into, oh, maybe we should take some action on here.
And these things are clearly, I apologize if you said this, but after you've reached the facts, logic, and reason is A-OK stage. You know what I mean? Like,
We talked about this last week too with the personalization.
Yeah.
You've already given them, like, if I'm the one that has initiated it, I'm the generalizer, and I said, hey, look,
Yeah.
let's
already-
have this conversation. I need you to help me. You've already given them permission to do the facts, logic, and reason.
And like, could you say, like, after you've comforted, like, could you say, like, but what do you have going good? What's
You
going
could.
good?
And then they're going to trump it with nothing.
Yeah, because that was kind of be my question is,
We
like,
should
but
roll-
are they so like far in it?
They
Like,
can be. I mean, not everybody is.
Sure. Yeah.
But I had a great revelation. I don't know if it was last night or yesterday in writing one of the applications in the book. And it's, what if somebody, it was yesterday, on the chapter of my book on miracles and how, well, Trey died, so we didn't get our miracle. When the reality is we were blessed. Speaking of looking at the positive, we were blessed with many miracles. And I said, okay, well, if your loved one goes down that road, I'm a terrible Christian. I let down my family. I let down my loved one. And I'm terrible. I
I
have
don't
no
have
faith.
enough faith.
I didn't have
Yeah.
enough faith, all
Oh,
that
my
stuff.
gosh, yeah.
And I said, I talk a lot about emotions. Well, should you join somebody in that emotion? And what I came with was, instead of saying, stop that, don't do that, you're being rude, that's going to make them feel alone.
Right.
Rather, what you should say is, my heart's broken right now. And I love you so much. We did everything that we can. And we're going to continue to grieve. Because you're joining them in their emotion of sadness.
Right.
Don't join them in their thinking.
Right.
So with this person, we should join their emotion. They're sad. Man, this
Right.
is rough.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't say, wow, I'm going to join you in that.
Yeah.
You are the
you
worst.
really are. Yeah.
So join them in their emotion,
Yeah.
not in their thinking. And then there's some subtleties. Like even in that statement, I said, we did everything we can. You're joining them. You're saying we prayed as hard as we could. You're taking it off of them, that burden. So you're not thinking like they are, but you are joining them saying, my heart is broken, my heart is heavy, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Makes sense.
I love when I stumble into those things.
Yeah.
That is. I hope that the AI pulls that out as a.
A little clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Is it more or less likely to pull it out because you called it out? It's listening. Which part of my sermon on Sunday, by the way, is I said to Chat GPT, give me a typical sermon because I'm going to give a sermon that is wildly atypical.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
There was a never mind. That's off topic.
Good. List the number of other possible reasons why the event could have taken place other than your involvement / the pattern. Mm-hmm. So like, you're working with somebody on this, hypothetically speaking, did the plane crash because of you? Could it have been a Friday when they built the plane and the guy was not paying attention? Could it have been? And you just go through that with the person. That's some facts, logic, and reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know what's going to, latch on. Replace the negative statement with one that gives you control over the situation. For example, you eat something not allowed on a new diet. Your reaction is, well, I'll never lose weight. The consequence? Well, you stop trying. You become self-condemning. May eat more. Self-condemning more than well, this actually completely applies. So, renewed response. Replace I'll never lose weight with I am in control of my eating and I choose whether to eat or not. Mm-hmm. With more truthful thinking, the response to one day of failure on a new diet will be I'll begin again now. Mm-hmm. Which goes back to Kramer's vow of silence. When he kept breaking his vow of silence, and he's like, all right, it starts now. And then he says, now.
It reminds me of Dwight shunning Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Reshun.
Reshun. Number 2, you don't get a promotion. Well, I always get looked over. I'm doing the Brian boys. Consequence of the reaction. You sink further behind at work and you resent your boss and become a bitter person to work with. Boy, we know a lot of those people. I do. Anyhow, not at work. Jan's fine. Renewed response. I could have worked harder, but also others may have been better suited for the job. But I'll do everything I can to be a better employee and maybe get the raise next time or the promotion. I mean, that'd be nice to say that.
Sure. Well, I would add to that, like, the renewed response, like, it wasn't personal. I mean, certainly, I guess some decisions are personal, but like, I'm just saying, like, as a renewed response where you're trying to look at the positive, like,
right, it just wasn't personal.
I didn't get the
it was
promotion. It was a professional. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
It's
like,
so destructive. Like,
yeah.
And but again, back to my point about don't consider yourself better than others. Like, it's an amazingly, and I guess by necessity, egocentric thing to say. That you think this entire universe is revolving around you and your failure. When it, just like Brian said, you're creating it. And by that, I mean your hurts from the past and all that stuff. But you're not even allowing for the success.
All of these different things, like the polarizing, personalization, generalization, they all suffer from that, right? And it's like, when you hear like somebody who's stuck in their own head, like that's what you are. Like literally, it can be.
And we're not blaming you,
right? No,
it's your hurts,
it could be completely overwhelming, and
it's a trauma response.
Yeah, and the depression and like the seeming inability to change it all like makes you stuck in your own head. Everything's revolving around your own thoughts.
It's the vicious cycle. And can I read the verse? Because I want to leave us with, I'm not saying.
Well, then I don't want to leave yet because I want to say something before we do that.
Then let's do that. But I do I want to leave with the scripture because I feel like if there's a person out there, like, I hear what you're saying, I just don't know how to get out. I don't know how to stop this vicious cycle.
Well, I was going to say 2 things. One is, just like everything I do the right things, and it's always for the wrong reasons. Like, I think, God's going to use this way. It's a different way. Maybe this whole series is to keep people who are not doing this from becoming that. Maybe we're not going to reach down and pull people out of these depths. But in a week from now, somebody who's sitting with us at the table today is going to be like, this always happens to,
Yeah. Right.
But back to the you're creating it in your mind. The perfect illustration is disc golf. Because when I play and it's going bad, I constantly say to myself, just gives me a great opportunity to overcome. Every great comeback starts with a big setback, and then you're playing with somebody else who's like, "Oh, of course I hit that tree," you know, and you just get more of that.
That's how I play hockey, man. Like, again, I'm a goalie, and I had to learn early on. All right, I gave up a goal. Now what?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, do I
stop that
dwell?
next
I
one.
can't dwell on that. It's done.
I can't believe I almost made that goal. I'm amazing. Or I almost made that save. I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Like they just scored on you. I know, but they
But I almost
didn't.
had it. Almost.
Almost.
If there's only a scripture verse that could wrap this all up. What
Yeah.
scripture verse?
Philippians 4.
Ah, yes.
I can't read it because my 8.
8.
Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Wow.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And that's the verse
meditate
earlier where
on
it
this
talks about the gratitude.
Yeah. Meditate on it.
In 7. Meditate on it day and night.
Start your morning with it. You know, I mean, seriously, like if you're stuck in it and you're like, how do I get out? I'm not saying this is going to change your life, but like, it's a good start. It's a good thing to meditate on, and then ask God to open the eyes of your heart and of your mind as you go through the day. To you know what, I would have seen this as crappy, but there's a really good thing in that. It's you will start to see the unseen. You'll start to see things in a way that you haven't been able to before.
And even if you feel like, well, this isn't going to help, do it anyway, because eventually you're going to be messing with your own neuroplasticity in a good way.
Not that I want to.
You want to one up me with scripture?
No, I don't. I just wanted to share a
That always
kind of
happens.
funny story of, we've been going through it. And the other day, I Miss Virginia from church, who
what
sends
a
birthday
beautiful
cards,
woman.
and she sent me the scripture in the card for my birthday last year, and it's Numbers 6:26 through 26.
That's the Bible chapter, Numbers.
Book numbers, yeah.
Right. Not
chapter, book number.
Not QuickBooks.
I'm sorry.
name.
Yep. And
QuickBooks.
the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And it was one of those moments where, like, we have been going through kind of a season of, like, it's all happening to us. Like, Amy got in somebody rear-ended her in a garbage truck. It wasn't bad. She's fine. But it was like, there goes another
But if
thing.
it was going to happen, it was going to happen to you guys right now. And
Of
course that would
of course it was going to happen.
But
to you guys.
but there was this moment the other day where I just let out this big, like, and, like, my breath just kind of pushed this verse and, like, it just landed, like, right in front of me.
really?
And I was like, all right, let's shift the focus. Let's shift, it
That's
was just
fun.
kind of interesting that happened when we're talking about, like, these kinds of
Yeah.
things. So, but I just thought I just want to share that.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Miss Virginia.
Yeah. Thanks to Miss Virginia. Thanks to Mary Lynn. Thanks to Breaking 90. Thanks to Ashley. And you in the future,
Future you.
perhaps. But that's how we're going to end episode 242. You probably won't join us next week, Wednesday, 8:30-ish for episode 243. But between now and then, you can give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. As always, thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
See you next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.